1. Battle of Hulao Pass. At that time, politics was corrupt, people were in dire straits, and uprisings occurred frequently in various places. Among them, the Yellow Turban Army was one of the most threatening rebel armies. They used the slogan, "Heaven is dead, Huang Tian shall rise," as their slogan, claiming to overthrow the Eastern Han Dynasty and establish a new regime. In 184 AD, the Yellow Turban Uprising broke out in various places, and the Eastern Han Dynasty court fell into a huge crisis. The imperial court sent General Dong Zhuo to suppress the uprising. However, although Dong Zhuo defeated some rebels, he gained huge military power and influence and became the actual controller of the imperial court. As a member of the Eastern Han Dynasty, Cao Cao was worried about Dong Zhuo's ambition and military strength. He realized Dong Zhuo's threatening nature and decided to take action to prevent his further development. In 190 AD, Cao Cao led his army towards Hulao Pass and launched a fierce confrontation with Dong Zhuo's army. The two sides started a fierce battle near Hulao Pass, and the battlefield was filled with flames and smoke. Cao Cao's army adopted flexible tactics and constantly attacked Dong Zhuo's army by surprise, putting it into a passive situation. Although Dong Zhuo's army was large in number, its combat effectiveness was insufficient and failed to effectively resist Cao Cao's attack. After several days of fierce fighting, Cao Cao finally won the Battle of Hulao Pass. He cleverly used terrain and tactics to defeat Dong Zhuo's army and seize control of Hulao Pass. Seeing that the situation was not good, Dong Zhuo had no choice but to lead the remaining defeated generals in a rout and flee. After the war, Dong Zhuo's power declined, and powerful powers such as Cao Cao began to emerge in the Central Plains. The Eastern Han Dynasty entered a more turbulent period. 2. The Battle of Guandu. The background of the Battle of Guandu is the political chaos and warlord separatism in the late Eastern Han Dynasty. At that time, Yuan Shao and Cao Cao were the two largest warlords, each with huge armies and territories. Yuan Shao dominated the area north of the Yellow River, while Cao Cao controlled most of the area south of the Yellow River. In order to compete for more territory and resources, conflicts inevitably occurred between the two sides. Yuan Shao had hundreds of thousands of troops, while Cao Cao's army was only about half of Yuan Shao's. In terms of army numbers, Yuan Shao had a clear advantage. However, Cao Cao's army was of high quality, and his generals and counselors were also excellent. Cao Cao's counselor Xun Yu proposed a strategy, suggesting that Cao Cao adopt the strategy of attacking from the east and attacking from the west, distracting Yuan Shao's troops and attacking Wu Chao by surprise. Cao Cao adopted this strategy and decided to send an elite force to attack Yuan Shao's rear and burn Yuan Shao's grain and grass base, Wu Chao. At the same time, he sent another force to attack the main force of Yuan Shao's army. After the battle began, Cao Cao's army quickly attacked Yuan Shao's rear and burned Wu Chao's grain and grass base. This raid put Yuan Shao's army in a difficult position as they did not have enough food and supplies. At the same time, Cao Cao's main force also launched a fierce battle with the main force of Yuan Shao's army. Although at a numerical disadvantage, Cao Cao's army showed tenacious combat effectiveness and superb tactical literacy. After Yuan Shao learned that Wu Chao's grain and grass were burned, he was horrified and at a loss. His subordinates also betrayed him, and some even suggested surrendering to Cao Cao. In such a predicament, Yuan Shao had to choose to retreat. However, his retreat plan was discovered by Cao Cao, and Yuan Shao eventually fled in the chaos. After this, Cao Cao pursued Yuan Shao, beheaded Yan Liang, Wen Chu, and other famous generals, disintegrating Yuan Shao's power and making it unable to organize effective resistance. After this, Cao Cao pursued Yuan Shao, beheaded Yan Liang, Wen Chu, and other famous generals, disintegrating Yuan Shao's forces, making it no longer possible to organize effective resistance. Cao Cao's victory established his hegemony in the north and laid the foundation for his unification of the north. This battle also marked the decline of Yuan Shao's power and laid a solid foundation for Cao Cao to later unify the north and establish the Wei state. 3. Battle of Chibi. The Battle of Chibi took place in 208 AD and was an important battle between Su Chao and Cao Wei during the Three Kingdoms period in China. Before the war broke out, Cao Cao led a huge army southward in an attempt to destroy Su Chao and unify southern China. Cao Cao's army was so powerful that it posed a serious threat to Su Chao. At the same time, the alliance between Sun Quan and Liu Bei of Su Chao became increasingly strong. The two joined forces to fight against Cao Cao and began to cooperate against Cao Cao. However, facing the strength of Cao Wei's army, the Sun and Liu coalition realized that they were not strong enough to confront Cao's army head-on. Therefore, they adopted careful strategies and preparations, hoping to find a breakthrough under adverse circumstances. During the preparation stage, the coalition forces of Sun and Liu realized that their combat effectiveness was not enough to compete with Cao Cao head-on, and decided to adopt a fire attack strategy. The key to this strategy was to use the terrain and climate along the Chibi River to design a fire attack plan to attack Cao's army's weaknesses. As one of the main strategists, Zhou Yu planned the fire attack plan for this battle. Through careful layout and preparation, he hoped to achieve victory. The implementation of the fire attack plan is a key part of the entire Battle of Chibi. The coalition forces of Sun and Liu used the east wind to fuel the fire and chose to launch a fire attack at the appropriate time. The key to the fire attack was to prepare a large number of fire ships and push them towards Cao's fleet at night. When the east wind blew, the fire spread quickly and formed a sea of fire. This fire attack plunged Cao's army into great confusion and panic. Cao's fleet was surrounded by flames, the ships were burned, and the soldiers were devoured by the sea of fire. This fire attack plunged Cao's army into great confusion and panic. Cao's fleet was surrounded by flames, the ships were burned, and the soldiers were devoured by the sea of fire. Under the implementation of the fire attack plan, the Sun-Liu coalition took advantage of the situation and launched a general offensive. Cao's army was trapped in a sea of fire, their morale was low, and they were unable to effectively organize a counterattack. The allied forces of Sun and Liu took advantage of the situation and launched a comprehensive siege. Cao's army was defeated and retreated steadily. Realizing that the situation was critical, Cao Cao had no choice but to lead his remaining defeated soldiers to flee north in a hurry, and his southern expedition plan completely failed. The Battle of Chibi ended with the defeat of Cao's army and the victory of Sun and Liu's coalition forces. 4. Battle of Pingyang. Before the Battle of Pingyang, there had been territorial competition and military confrontation between the Western Han Dynasty of China and the Xiongnu. The Xiongnu were a nomadic people who frequently raided the northern border areas of the Han Dynasty, posing a huge threat to the Han Dynasty. The Han Dynasty sent large armies to the north many times in an attempt to solve the Xiongnu problem, but with little success. In AD 1, Huokubing, the newly appointed general of the Han Dynasty, accepted the order of Emperor Wu of the Han Dynasty and led the powerful Han army to conquer the Xiongnu in the north to eliminate the threat to the northern border of the Han Dynasty. However, the Xiongnu Chanyu sent General Meng Tian to lead his elite troops to fight, preparing for a decisive battle with the Han army in the Pingyang area. Before the Battle of Pingyang broke out, both sides made full pre-war preparations and deployments. Huokubing realized the importance of this battle. He carefully planned the battle plan and organized a powerful army, including elite cavalry and infantry units. He sent scouts to detect the movements of the Xiongnu army, and at the same time adopted a secret march strategy in an attempt to attack the Huns by surprise. Meng Tian actively prepared in the Xiongnu army, organized troops, and planned defensive measures. He knew how powerful the Han army was, but he was still determined to fight with it to defend the territory and honor of the Huns. The Xiongnu army was also ready for a full-scale war, and prepared for a decisive battle with the Han army. After the fighting broke out, the two sides launched a fierce confrontation in the Pingyang area. The Han army attacked the Huns' positions with strong offensive momentum, while the Huns' cavalry launched flexible guerrilla tactics, and constantly harassed the Han army's flanks and rear. During the battle, both sides demonstrated excellent combat qualities and tactical capabilities. With its strong combat effectiveness and organizational discipline, the Han army continued to advance and occupied the Huns' positions. The Huns' cavalry used their flexible and mobile fighting methods to effectively counterattack and block the Han army. The battle was extremely fierce, with soldiers from both sides struggling on the edge of life and death and engaging in a desperate struggle with each other. The battlefield was bloody, smoke-filled, and flames shot into the sky, creating a tragic scene. After several days of fierce fighting, the Han army finally won the Battle of Pingyang. The Han army, led by Huo Kubing, defeated the Xiongnu army and seized control of the Pingyang area with its strong combat effectiveness and organizational capabilities. The Huns' army collapsed after their defeat. Unable to resist, the Huns' troops led by Meng Tian had no choice but to give up resistance and retreat to the north. The victory of the Han army also completely changed the situation at that time, relieved the threat of the Xiongnu to the northern border of the Han dynasty, and stabilized the situation in the border areas. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to Positivity Channel. See you next time.